Sky, No Regrets by Scott Walker, an amazing song about saying goodbye, or Hello Goodbye by the Beatles, which is maybe more cheery for the afternoon. Love them both though. Great suggestions, one and all. Keep them coming in, and one will close off the show just before 4 o'clock. But we are opening the show with the brilliant Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie. It's been 30 years since the band, who originally hail from Bathgate in West Lothian, released their classic album Good Deeds and Dirty Rags. And to mark the occasion, they've been back out on the road. They've just completed a short sellout tour in Scotland, starting at the Garage in Glasgow, where they played their last gig back in 1995. And after some different versions of the band and various side projects, fans were absolutely thrilled to see them back on stage. We're going to hear all about the reunion shortly, but first we just have to kick things off with an absolute classic. Now, we played this last week on the show to tie in with the tour kicking off, but we couldn't resist another wee spin. Here they are, Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie and the Rattler. There you go, that's the Rattler from Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie. Delighted to have not one but two of the main men from the group here with me in the studio right now. An old friend of the show, vocalist Martin Mecalfe, and a local legend, certainly here in Edinburgh, guitarist Big John Duncan. Welcome both of you to the show.
Hi there. Hi. Thanks very much.
Just listening to that there, the Rattler, and we just had a wee chat about that song. Listening to it on the radio, still sounds great on the radio, still sounds great if you've got it on in your car, but you just talked about how special it is to play live.
Well, it's a different feeling playing it than hearing it. As I said, especially when the audience are reacting to it, because the minute it starts, it kicks off.
It's the one that's going to get everyone.
So, I mean, listening to it, is a different experience altogether. But the actual interaction with everybody, you can see it in their faces the minute it starts.
Martin, what about you? How do you feel about hearing that song now?
I still enjoy listening to the record, and live, it's made for live because it's got call and response in the song, so the audience, and not that the audience respond much, they sing the whole thing. So they did this time round anyway, that's for sure.
I saw a lot of the attention on social media that you guys got with the gigs over the weekend, and it has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, as you know, social media can be a hard read sometimes if you're doing stuff, but overwhelmingly hugely positive. What was it like for you guys? How did you feel the gigs went?
Astonishing, really astonishing. Didn't expect to set. We thought we would play small, and this is the truth. We really thought we started off by looking at Oran Moore, and then Mark Mackey at Regular said, let's go to the Garage, let's do a bigger one than that, and we were quite nervous about it.
Was it a nerve? Were you feeling a bit nervous about coming back?
Not playing so much, not me anyway, not me. But, I mean, some members of the band haven't played for a very long time, so there would be nerves there.
John, how did you feel about doing this?
Terrified. At the very first, I mean, I never had any feelings, not feeling, but he asked me to do it, and at first I'm going, I can't do this. I can't do it, because I was having difficulty playing guitar. Or just
you've got major health issues at the moment, so.
But and then I got my head sort of around it and thought about it, and just started to really easily do things, and the more and more that I started to do, and then I started to get nervous, going, bloody hell, I'm going to have to do this in front of people. and there was a few ups and downs and tantrums, going, no, I can't do it, there's no way I can do this. Right, phone Martin right now and tell him that I can't. And then an hour later, I'm going, this is fantastic. I can't wait. Yeah. But a few days before we started the gigs, I'm going, the nerves are over. It's too late now.
You're just there.
I'm there. We're doing this.
Well, the reaction has been, as I mentioned, fantastic. Tony Ward got in touch. He says, I was at both gigs last weekend for Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie, Liquid Room, the Edinburgh shows, both of those shows. Emotional and phenomenal. All credit to Martin Metcalfe for trooping on with laryngitis. Lesser and bigger artists would have bailed. Also fantastic sound and performance enhanced by a spectacular light show. Load up the covered wagons, indeed. The Mackenzies are back and rocking. That's got to be the kind of reaction that you were hoping for when you set out on this.
I could have really dreamed of that sort of reaction. I've got to be honest.
And you were struck down by laryngitis.
I still am. I still am. I'm really struggling to speak. So imagine what it was like 5 days ago, 4 days ago. Did 3 gigs with no voice, basically. With if I could sing a note, I was lucky. And so therefore the tables turned. John was the one with the kind of concerns, and then he was walking on stage, you know, cock of the north, quite the thing, being able to play everything very well, and I couldn't even sing a note, you know. So
no, that's not true. You could sing several notes.
So how was it, John? You touched on how difficult you are with your hands, with mobility generally now.
Yeah,
I mean, that
yeah.
was obviously a concern and a bit of a mountain you had to get over to actually physically get on stage. But is there something about actually getting on and doing it that overcomes these kind of issues and helps you get through it?
I think that I had a goal. I had something to work towards, because for a few years now, I play guitar at home, but I've never played anything that I used to be able to play. Of all the bands and things, there's nothing that I came to the realisation, right, I've done that, right, I can't do it anymore, so now I have to use my disadvantage to my advantage. So I was making up things that I could play,
Right.
which were a lot simplified and I'm sitting in a house surrounded by guitars, and
You can't play them.
I can't not play them,
Yeah.
because that's what I'm saying. I'm sitting there looking at me every day, and I'm thinking I had to make myself do things, you know.
So what was the sense of achievement like when you got there and you did it?
Well, I started off with just going, right, I put the record on, I went upstairs, put an MP3 of the album on and started playing, and I thought, well, I'll just mimic the bass, I'll just play along, it's the least I can do. I can just use one finger, and then just the more I've done it, the more I was able to do. Some things come back straight away. I was like, wow, I can play that little riff there. And then other things I'm going, did I play on that? I was like, I
Well, you did,
forgot altogether.
and you
but,
got there on stage.
Yeah, really.
Brilliant.
Just a bit of hard work and a goal, and it ended up coming together.
Well done. I can just
Yeah.
see in both your faces how pleased you are
Yeah,
the way
really,
things have
really,
gone. We're going to continue chatting in just a moment, but we're going to listen to another song now, Blacker Than Black, not from Good Deeds and Dirty Rags, but from an album which came after it. And Nigel Bailey got in touch. He was replying to one of our tweets saying that you were coming on the show. He says, your tweet has just inspired me to dig this out. Haven't listened to it in years, and it's a vinyl copy of Hammer and Tongs. I too dug out my vinyl copy of Hammer and Tongs,
Okay.
which we're going to play. So let's stick this one, Blacker Than Black. Here we go. Goodbye, Mr. Mackenzie. There you go, that's Blacker Than Black from Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie. My guest Martin Metcalfe and Big John Duncan from the band are still with me. Martin, let's take it right back actually, because it's quite a journey, and obviously you've spent a bit of time thinking about things when you're coming out to do this tour again. What was it like revisiting the original tracks and getting them back on stage? What was that experience like?
It was surprisingly difficult, in that mainly because our keyboard player Rona didn't have any of the sounds from the finding those 80s
right.
sounds exactly as you.
Of course, yeah.
It's quite difficult, and so there was a lot of work went in on her behalf to get that sorted out, and doing these songs is different from my recent band, the Filthy Tongues, because it's more straight ahead, more kind of four at the floor, I think, kind of more simple, and we thought, is that all, you know, it's quite a simply played music, really, drums wise anyway. So yeah, we had a few surprises there, and I was I just really enjoyed the challenge of trying to make it work, you know, in this decade for us.
And take us right back. How did the band first come together? Because it's a remarkable story of the
Well, it was all sorts of little incidents happened. Myself, Derek Kelly grew up in Bathgate, and we had two different bands. Those bands amalgamated, came to Edinburgh, and I met Shirley in 1983, I think, in the Edinburgh Youth Theatre. I was trying some theatre out just to give myself a bit more confidence on stage with the band. Really, it was just
Is that right? Is that why
that's why
you
I
did
did
that?
it, yeah.
Right, okay.
This show called the Maxter Factor, which was Edinburgh Youth Theatre, and
And that's where you met Shirley.
that's where I met Shirley.
Right.
And then I met Shirley. After I met Shirley, I met John I think I was lying on some nightclub floor and John was trying to help me up for some reason. I don't know.
On the nightclub
Was it you? One of us, maybe we
we
were
had
both
this
there.
conversation. You were on a seat and I was on the floor. We were in quite a state.
See, so somebody who grew up in Edinburgh in the 80s, I would call Big John as well. And if I woke up on the floor next to him, I'd be...
But this was, we were wide awake, but it was in a club. It wasn't on somebody's floor. We were actually in this club somewhere, partying at the time, and we had this conversation.
Yeah, John's band, the Blood Uncles, had just broken up, and he was saying he would like to help us out, and I said, you know, we are a pop band. Although we're not really a pop band, I just thought I'd make it clear that it's not quite as, you know,
perhaps from the fold that he'd come
grimy
from.
metal.
People ask me, what sort of music is it? And I'm going, well, it's a pop band, but it's not really a pop band. It's twisted.
It was
it's a twisted pop band, you know.
It's kind of the Ramones approach of sort of bubblegum with a bit of sickness.
And John, your track record as well is very well known. Exploited obviously was a big part. And am I right? I was just reading through notes. Tell us about your experience with Nirvana.
A friend, another guy from Edinburgh actually, Alec McLeod, he was tour managing them. I got a phone call one day and would you like to come out and help us look after Kurt Cobain's guitars for Nirvana? And I'm like, oh, okay. So off I went.
And you ended up on stage?
Yeah, the In Utero album, when they brought that out, there was some double guitars on the track. So in order to play them live, they needed 2 guitars. So while I was taking, I had to go up and play some songs as well. I think I played 6 off the In Utero album.
Remarkable stuff.
Which was quite strange, in Roseland Ballroom in New York, and I missed my cue to go on stage because I was busy fixing Chris's bass at the time, and I looked up and it was all quiet and everybody staring at me going,
you're on.
Get on, you're on. I'm going, oh shit, I better go. So I had to put the down and off I went.
Maybe a wee apology there for a wee sweary which came out in the afternoon there. We'll have to apologise for that if anyone was mildly offended. But let's also talk what else was going on, because, you know, and there's so much I want to try and get in over this chat, Martin, because Angelfish as well, we need to talk about that, because that also heavily involved Shirley, which was going on at the same time as Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie was still together.
We came to a sort of impasse with major record companies, and we decided just to go back to our punk base, you know, our punk roots, you know, what got us into music in the first place. We made an album called 5, which is also 25 years old this year. And while we were making the album 5, or demoing for it, we got Shirley to sing more songs. She was going to be singing more material on this Mackenzie's album. And then our previous label got in touch with us, and we offered her a solo deal, if you like. So some of the band went away and formed this band Angelfish in America. So there's 2 albums, one called 5, one called Angelfish, and they're like brother and sister album. They both came out 25 years ago. And from that point, Shirley got her job with Garbage. So this is how it all started, really, for her.
Well, let's take a moment, because we've actually got a track from 5, as you mentioned, 25-year anniversary this year, and this was the first song that Shirley Manson ever sang lead vocals on. We're going to hear this now. This is Normal Boy. There you go, that's Normal Boy and Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Got that wonderful treat of just saying always leave them wanting just a little bit more, isn't it? Brilliant. So we mentioned Shirley, and there's obviously a great deal of affection with her and with the part that she played in the band. What's relationships like with Shirley now?
Our relationship with Shirley is good, I would say. Yeah, I went out with Shirley for a meal not so long ago, maybe a few months ago. But we don't see much of her because she's so busy. She's still touring with Garbage. People don't know quite how huge Garbage are still. They still play everywhere in the world. So she's very busy and lives in Los Angeles.
And John, you've had this experience of getting back out on the road. You've overcome what issues life was thrown at you. You've got it. You've done it. You've enjoyed it, and you're not stopping, because you've just announced some more gigs.
We're playing in in Gala Shields on the 26th and then Butte Festival on 27th.
So that's the 26th of July, Gala Shields, Mac Arts, and then Butte Festival on stage 2 there, headlining that.
Yep. And we've got some English dates, and then we're going to be doing the Glasgow Barrowland, which is an amazing thing for us to be doing. But because of the sales on these recent gigs, it's just been possible to do the Barrowland. So 20th of December, going to be in the Barrowland.
Going to be looking forward to that.
Really,
it's a great one.
really, yeah.
And I got a quick text here, John. Just want to throw this by. It says, "Hi Grant, could you ask Big John if his party piece is still drinking a bottle of salad cream?" I've witnessed that from Doogie and Leith.
I've upgraded to mayonnaise these days, although I still like salad cream.
So it's genuine. That's a bit of
that's a genuine thing.
That's a party piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
you need to see it to believe it, I would imagine. And Martin, you've got a visual art exhibition coming up as well. Tell us about that.
It's the whole band, actually, because, well, not the whole band, but Derek Kelly's got artwork there, Big John's got artwork there, his skulls, his graphics, and I've got my artwork there, and that's in 13 London Road in Edinburgh. That's on until Saturday, so Saturday's the last day. Called Global Weirding, that's the name of the exhibition. And
it's called Natty Me. Natty.
The gallery's called Natty Me. Yes.
Yeah, Natty
Okay,
Me.
and we've talked before in the show about Shamanic.
Shamanic's
and
brilliant,
you've got more plans for that.
That's next
Because
Wednesday.
we've got Faye Fife and Maria Rudd. They're going to be on the show on Monday to tell us about that. A little taster?
Well, Shamanic is an amazing live art extravaganza where Maria paints live. It gets projected 50 feet high above the band who's play live, and it's going to be myself, Faye Fife, and some other members of Mackenzie's and Rosillo's.
Fantastic.
Next Wednesday.
Well, as we heard in that text earlier on from Tony Ward, I think we can wrap up on this one. Load up the covered wagons, indeed. The Mackenzies are back and rocking. So you've not heard the last from you guys by a long shot. Welcome back to the show. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks,
Thank you
Grant.
so much.
Thanks
Fantastic.
a lot. Martin Metcalfe and John Duncan, real thrill to have you on the show. Thanks very much. If you want more information about everything that we've just talked about there, just go to the links in the Afternoon Show webpage and you can find a bit more about their activities with Goodbye Mr Mackenzie.
Deacon Blue and BBC Radio Scotland's Ricky Ross.
I think you've got to remember with a song, there's something at the very heart of it which has to be true. There's got to be something human, something that moves you, something that might well change you when you hear it.
The search to find